Today at Dirt Road CRED, we're going to check out the 2025 Jeep Gladiator Willys versus the 2025 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. And we also have been fielding a ton of questions on which Gladiator might be right for you. You guys are going to want to stay to the end because I think the price difference between a Rubicon and this is going to be perhaps the biggest sticker shock, is how close you can get them. Now we're going to start off with the 2025 Gladiator Willys because this is a very popular trim. This one here is a 2025 finished off in the firecracker red clear coat, and a lot of things that you get in the Willys are going to be, they used to be primarily just appearance and then a little bit of suspension, but with this one, 2024 newer, they started adding a lot of other goodies. So right away in the front, this one does have the LED group, so LED front headlights, front turn signals, and the fog lights. And then right away, you can kind of tell it's a Willys because of the gloss black grille. They put those standard on every single Willys Jeep. And then when you look at the fender flares too, these are gonna be color matched on every single Willys. So you actually can't order them with a black fender flare, which on this one I think looks clean. However, they are the standard height fender flares, meaning that they are not the Rubicon, so they're not as high. Now on the side of this, Anthony said it really depends on what week or what day they get installed, but you're either going to get Firestone Destination MT2s or you're going to get Falcon Wild Peaks on the Willys style wheel. Now this is a 285/75, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. 255/75, so right around a 33-inch tire, and then this does have the Rubicon suspension, but it does look nice with the color matched fender flares. You get the Willys badge right here on the hood. Now walking around to the side, this one normally would have rock rails. However, here at this dealership, they typically swap them over for side steps, as a ton of customers do want that. But on the exterior of that, the rest of it is just the same as a standard Gladiator. Let's pop it open. We'll show you all the goodies that are on the inside that make this a little bit more special for the 2025 model year. Now, as we open this up, everything here is very similar to a standard sport trimmed Jeep. It's like a Sport S Plus. So you do get the cloth dash as well as that cloth dark gray that's same in Ryan's Sport Wrangler. However, if you do, I believe, a Sport S or above, that's where you start to get some of the fancy stuff. So you get the adaptive cruise control, you get some of those safety groups, and then you do get a leather-wrapped premium steering wheel. Now what I find really ironic about these though, Ryan, this is kind of a funny quirk, this is still a non-automatic dimmer. So you actually have to flip this and there's nothing behind it, but you do have like full safety group. So a little bit interesting on there. Now on the Willys, perhaps the biggest thing that you're going to get is the auxiliary switches. So those come now with the Willys package. And the biggest thing, if you're looking to off-road this, is you do now get the rear locker as well as the off-road plus button. For, I would say, the majority, 90% of the time, most folks can get out of a very bad situation just with the rear locker. So having that in this Jeep is absolutely huge. Now some options are on this Willys Gladiator, including the convenience group, which gives you the remote start button on here on your key fob, as well as the heated steering wheel and heated seats, both left and right side, and it does give you the garage door openers up top. We have a standard cloth or a kind of that factory style soft top, deep tint on the back, so that is a little bit of an option, but not too much on the interior here that is different. The only thing that you get with the Willys that is probably the biggest thing as far as the upgrade from the 2024 model year is going to be that rear locker. The aux switches come on here, and that Rubicon suspension, which is really, really nice on the outside. Now on the back, we still have the same cloth material as is standard, as well as that bronze stitching, which seems to be on most sport trims. Flip this up, and I want to say this is now standard. We'll have to look because the Rubicon has a different one, but it's almost this storage tray here that you can put all your goodies down below the seats. And a huge thing I don't get in many Gladiators, I'm excited to get one, is because these things, Ryan, they're like so versatile. Like really the back seat of these things are very, very versatile to do what you want. You've even got storage cubbies back here too. So really cool on the Willys, but basically the same as a standard Sport, same as the other Wranglers. We have our floor mats in here, but yeah, everything's gonna be pretty much the same back here. Do have that upgraded 2024 soundbar that's a little bit different, as well as the curtain airbags, which are also standard on all of these models. So this Willys does come equipped with the Class 4 hitch receiver, as well as a 7-way and a 4-way up top. Tow hooks on the left-hand side. 4-wheel drive logo that comes on all the Willys, and then this one does have the LED group in the back end here. If we pop this down too, this is one thing, Ryan, we're gonna change instantly on ours. These have to go. I just don't think the lowercase looks good, but we'll fix that later on. Drop this down. It does have a strut activation, so it's a little bit softer. They've added a Mopar trifold onto this one, but inside of here, we do not have the auxiliary power. So we don't have the 110 volt in the back here, which I really like to have when you're using a Gladiator for camping, for just using it kind of day-to-day activities, you can throw different things in there. But yeah, nice size bed in here, just not too much, no bed liner in here. So when we were comparing these two, they're very, very similar. So now we're going to take a look at the 2025 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. This one started life in the Wrangler as well back in 2003 when they decided to unveil a model that could conquer the Rubicon Trail and be way more off-road equipped. Originally back in 03, the corporate thought this was going to be a huge failure. Well, come to now, and it's now on the Gladiator, the Wrangler, and it's probably the top selling Wrangler and Gladiator in the country. Now on this 2025, right away, you can see up front with the grille, they do come in a body color with this Rubicon flat, almost flake kind of color that you'll see accented around the grille. You can get these in satin black, but if you want a gloss black grille, truly the only way to get it is to buy a Willys or reach out to our friends at Distinction Applied and have one custom done. This one does have the plastic front bumper on. You can, once again, equip it with the front steel bumper, but right away in the front, that's where you start to see some of the goodies. So on the Rubicon, you get these high-line fender flares. So they're up a few inches taller than the standard fender flares, allowing for more clearance off-road as well as a much more aggressive look. These come standard in a black color, almost a body color or a black satin color, but you can get them color matched. It was going back and forth if you had to get the Rubicon X, but now it seems that you can get these color matched on a standard Rubicon trim. Right away then, up on the hood, we do have this really, really nice vented style hood. So when I say vented style, because these are not actual true vents, but you get a lot more aggressiveness right away from the front end of this vehicle. You can see LED group on the headlights, turn signals, and the front fog lights. And then cool thing on the side, especially when we're looking at these Rubicon fender flares, is Ryan, you can probably see just how much higher the fender flares are than those stock sport fender flares. Now, once again, with these, you can option different wheels, different tires. Falcons, you can get BFGs, you can get different ones. Rubicon suspension, obviously, on the Rubicon. And then underneath, you do get a little bit more protection as well. So underneath that front stock plastic bumper, there is a steel bash guard. So really cool. They don't do that on the Wrangler, Ryan. The Wrangler Rubicons get plastic on the front bumper. These get stock steel bash plates up front. So even if you get the plastic bumper, you still get that. Rubicon badging on the side lets you know what it is. And I'm more of a big fan of how they do the two-tone on the Trail Rated badge. So Trail Rated and the Jeep lettering on here, really, really a big fan of that. Rubicons all come standard with the rock rails, so do the Willys. So if you want rock rails on there, that's what they come with standard. And then onto the back, same kind of setup. The rear fenders are more of a high line though. So the rear fenders are the same high line as the front, and you get more of an aggressive look as well as be able to fit a larger size wheel and tire right out of the gate. If that's something you're planning on with either of these Jeeps, take into account the Rubicon. You could fit a set of 35s on here, no problem, right out of the gate, and really be capable off-road. So huge, huge perk for that. So as we step inside the Rubicon here, we do have a lot more going on when it comes to kind of the creature comforts of this Jeep. So we're looking on it. The first thing I want to give Jeep a little bit of crap for is because you went from gray stitching to red stitching to gray stitching to red stitching to gray stitching. There's absolutely no matching in this Jeep, and it absolutely blows my mind because my 392 is the same. But on the inside of this, we have the same kind of heather gray cloth seats. Besides, we have Rubicon embroidered into the back of the seat as well as red stitching around there. One of the cool things about this is you do get adaptive cruise control, you get the safety groups, you get all that on the Rubicon as standard. But Ryan, look at, I thought this was changed on the standard Rubicons. I thought it was the automatic, the auto darkening. I guess you have to option this. Maybe it's on the Rubicon X, but maybe that's part of one of the safety packages that you get. I was mistaken. I thought that this came on the Rubicon, but I obviously was mistaken. The biggest thing I wanted to let you guys know on the Rubicon, and what most people would kind of lean towards this if they're bigger into off-roading, is right down here. These beautiful red buttons that you see on the Rubicon, front and rear lockers, rear only, off-road plus, and the disconnecting front sway bar. That is perhaps the biggest things on this Rubicon. So you get front and rear Dana M220 and M210 front and rear axles, locking differentials, a front disconnecting sway bar, as well as the Rubicon 4-to-1 transfer case. On the Willys, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 2.72-to-1 transfer case, where the 4-to-1 is going to double, almost double that power when you're converting it down to 4-low. A very, very good transfer case on here, and really for that off-roader in mind. The other thing I did want to mention on the Rubicon, it isn't standard. This does have the convenience package for the front heated steering wheel and the remote start, as well as the heated seats, which in Pennsylvania and many northern states, Ryan, that's like an essential. You got to have remote start and heated seats. That kind of sucks because I think that Sport S we just ordered doesn't have any of that. So, but we can rip all the upholstery out and add some heated seats to it. But on the interior though, very, very similar. It's got the same, almost that canvas style soft top on here. Everything else onto it is very, very similar besides those off-road goodies. You've got the same Uconnect 5 up here, same leather wrapped steering wheel, same cloth material on the back, the red stitching, your rear cup holders, your rear vents. Flip this up though, this is where kind of the cool stuff is. So this is actually the locking Jeep storage center. So if I flip this one up for you, Ryan, what this does right here is this is a completely removable section in here that is keyed to your vehicle key. And this opens up, it's got removable dividers, so you can actually divide stuff up into here. Ryan, I'm thinking for camera gear. Perfect, lock it up, but it opens on both sides, right? I'll have you open that one up if you can reach, because I'm not that tall, right here in the center. So there you go, you get all that storage, both left and right side, and that is part of the package. However, you can add this aftermarket. The hardest thing with this to add aftermarket is just that you have to key it, right? So you gotta now do the pins and keys and all that. So it does get a little bit tricky, but I love this on the Rubicon. It does take away some storage, right? So if you wanna run things all on the floor here, this is gonna take some space up, but I think for the utility, this is absolutely awesome. I had it on my 2020 Gladiator Rubicon that was in this same color, Ryan, so this is bringing back old memories here. But yeah, we can close that up. And then we can fold these seats down. I love this. I miss it on the Gladiator, being able to do this here. That was just really cool. Back in the day though, I don't know if you can still do it. I remember my buddy Nick, there was a rechargeable speaker that would go in here. A rechargeable Bluetooth speaker that you could pop out. And I think the problem is that all these dealerships were getting them and all the techs would see it and be like, you're coming home with me. And they just pull them out and take them. They're like a $300 speaker. But yeah, really slick on the back end here. Same kind of setup though. Same soft top, same bows, same curtain airbags. I hate this on the Rubicons. They stopped doing it. Stop putting the Molly webbing on here. One day, Ryan, I think we're gonna have to take an old school Rubicon webbed seat back and try and make it fit on one of these or see if it does. Because my old one had all that webbing. You could put just a little bit of a shame. So let's go check out the bed and see what's upgraded into that. Part of it with that package, and both of these don't have any bed liner, but let's check it out. So once again, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not up to date all the way on the Gladiators, but I believe these come standard on the Rubicon. These are these bedside bash rails. These things are extremely beefy. They were on mine and they just look great. They look the part, plus they're gonna protect you if you drop off onto that corner. Worst thing about the Gladiators have this overhang, so that's where you get that corner dropping off. Now on the back, we do have a steel rear bumper on here. Red Rubicon tow hooks, that's a big thing on the Rubicon. You get a tow hook on both sides. So see that, that's a big difference from the Willys. You get a tow hook on both sides. Class 4 hitch receiver, both your 4-way and your 7-way plug here. And then on this, they do the two-tone Jeep lettering. So you can't see it because of the firecracker red, but this is red on the offset and then this gray on the inset. I do like the two-tone a little bit more than the solid colors. Open up this bed here, soft opening as well. And on this one, I would say I prefer this type of tonneau cover, because if you pull this one, this is not a trifold, this one rolls. So you see it's brand new, but this one will roll all the way up, Ryan, and give you a lot more bed utility, because the trifold stops and gives you a ton more to work around when you go to do it. Now what's cool on here is that's where you get that bed plug. So you've got the 115 volt cargo plug right in there. And then just like the Willys over there, this one does not have the spray and bed liner, so we do have that bright firecracker red in there. And we're also debating on the 2025s, what's coming next for that side, Ryan? You see that big plastic chunk right here? What's coming back in here? Because that's a big old cubby there to really put something in. So whether it's a 4xe, whether it's an air compressor, no matter what it is, we're waiting on that. But inside of this, Ryan, I'll roll this up a little bit more. This is the trail rail. So see this rail inside here? Yeah. And over there, there's some of the tie downs. That's included in that 24R package. And I did like these. It gave you a nice ability to do some tie downs, to add other accessories. I did like these on mine. So you get a lot with that 24R package. You get that lock seat, you get the plug, the bed plug, you get a tonneau cover. You get a lot with it. It's actually a pretty good package. It's $2,000, but I mean, the Mopar, these tonneau covers are pretty pricey anymore, so I think a pretty nice package. Now let's talk about it up front, because I think there's some interesting opinions about these, and I think someone, hopefully if you're watching this video and you're getting new into Jeeps, new into what you should take home and not make a huge mistake, a good place to go, right? If you turn around, Sands Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony here and the team, they do a really good job at, he's even told me, like, somebody wants a Rubicon, And he's like, well, what are you gonna do with it? Tell me what your lifestyle is with it, so they can work and find like the perfect Gladiator for you, so you're not overpaying for something you don't need. That's the worst case scenario. But yeah, let's talk about it up front, which one might be right for you, and then the prices, as well as which one I would drive home. I'll be honest with you guys, this is like a fun video for me to produce and for Ryan to be filming, I'm sure, because we're always looking at Auto Trader. We have a Gladiator on order, and this is just fun to check them out in person, because I do see these Gladiators at absolutely fantastic deals lately, and they're crazy discounted. It is not the case back in 2020 when I bought mine. It was basically MSRP, and that was all you could get them for. The discounts on these are phenomenal. However, they are even better on a Rubicon. So the Rubicons, since they have price points that are a little bit higher, that they do go up there higher, they get discounted more heavily compared to the Willys, the Sports, the other trims. So I would say the Rubicons and the Mojaves get crazy discounted, whereas these Willys, they don't get as discounted. Now we're looking back and forth on these. They are very similarly equipped Jeeps, besides the off-road components, a lot more on the Rubicon, but they are both very similar. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, they've got cloth interior, they have tonneau covers, they have no spray and bed liner, they have soft tops. When we're kind of looking at apples to apples, Ryan, they're probably as close to as you could get, besides like the Rubicon and what all that's got onto it. Now, when I tell you the prices here, you're gonna get kind of amazed, because this Willys behind me, this has an MSRP of $51,300, give or take some change, and the Rubicon is $57,000. So right away, Ryan, this is $6,000 more. $6,000 more than the Willys behind me. Now, at the time of this filming and everything that we're releasing here, the actual sale price, so you've got some discounts, you've got employee pricing, this one comes in at about $46,500, and this one here is $48,500. That's a lot closer than you were thinking, right, Ryan? I don't know about you, but that $2,000 of a difference to get everything that comes on the Rubicon, you're talking front lockers, disconnecting sway bar, transfer case, fender flares, 2 rear tow hooks, vented hood. That list goes on, and just like we purchased a dark sky package because we thought it was a great value for the hood and some other add-ons, for $2,000 more, I think this is an absolutely fantastic deal. Now, what I just said in my head as well is if we didn't add that bed power, if we didn't add that kind of 24R group, that would take $2,000 off. This is now $46,500-ish, and that's $46,500. Ryan, which one are you taking home? You're gonna yell because
this one.
You're gonna take the Willys home? Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, for the same price. I think it's really crazy for me to see what these are next to a side-by-side. Now, I think what Jeep has to do on this a little bit, I think would be profitable for them, make the Willys a little bit cheaper. I don't know, Ryan, I don't know about you, but like when you're looking at them with the discounts, if these were MSRP, you're paying $6,000 more. But now with all the discounts, you're right at the same level. And I would say if you're getting into off-roading, you want to get a good deal on something that has a higher resale value. The Rubicon always has a higher resale value. I mean, I say always with a caveat, of course, you never know how the market's gonna go, but typically the Rubicon has a higher resale value as people respect the price that it commands, as well as the off-road features that it has. And in my perspective too, if you're looking to get this started, and that's about in your price range, both of them, this trim is going to give you so much more capability off-road and just the creature comforts of having inside there than the Willys is. And why not get more for your money than get less? So I hope you guys got something out of this video. I looked at both of these Jeeps as we're constantly looking around for the best price, the best deal, and what the best bang for the buck is. And I think a side-by-side comparison like this is an absolutely fantastic way to show you guys with two very, very similarly equipped Jeeps. Now let us know down below in the comments which one you think is a better deal and what Jeep has to do to the Gladiator to make it survive. They need to get off lots, they're offering crazy incentives, and that's perhaps one of the reasons we decided to pick one up. But let us know down below in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully for that new Jeep purchaser or that new consumer in the Gladiator market, this helped you guys out a little bit. Let us also know what other trims you'd like to see us compare, as hopefully we can come down here, find some things that are in stock, pull them to the side like this, and get you some cool information on all of them. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We cannot wait for our Gladiator to roll off the delivery truck and start modifying it. But until then, Ryan's behind the camera, and I'm here talking to you, and we want you to get out there and earn yours.